Michaela.
Well, from unwelcome visitors to ones that we welcome with open arms and migrant birds, and autumn is a great time to see loads of migrants coming into the UK. Some are small, difficult to spot, others you just can't miss, like Buick swans, large white birds. Having said that, they're the smallest of the 3 swans that we get in the UK, smaller than hoopers and mute swans. They're fantastic, long-lived birds. They live up to 30 years, they mate for life, and some of them come back to the same wetlands year after year. But where are they coming from? Well, Chris showed us briefly yesterday. They're coming from the Arctic tundra in Russia, and it's this time of the year that they make this incredible migration, 3,000 to 4,000 kilometres through Europe. Some of them stop in the Netherlands, some carry on to wetlands in the UK. But sadly, what we're noticing is fewer and fewer of them are arriving here, and that's because their numbers have dropped dramatically in the last 15 years. They've dropped by a third across Europe and more than 59% in the UK. Now, some of the threats we know about, some we don't fully understand. And one way that would really help us to understand the problems that they face on that migration would be to fly with the swans as they migrate through Europe. But surely that would be impossible. Surely that would be really dangerous and slightly foolish. Well, there's one remarkable woman that thinks she can do it.
Sasha Dench from the Wildfowl and Wetland Trust cares so much about Buick swans, she's decided to take on an extraordinary personal voyage. She wants to understand the challenges the swans face and draw attention to their problems. So she hopes to be the first person ever to follow the swans on their epic migration.
Then head across
To experience the journey like the swans do, Sasha is going to fly in a paramotor. A paramotor is one of the most vulnerable and fragile of all aircraft. The pilot is exposed to the elements.
It was a ridiculous project that most paramotorists that I mentioned it to, in fact all bar one, had said, nah, ridiculous, you can't do it.
But local pilot Vlad Vuchevsky is sure it can be done, and he agrees to support Sasha in her attempt. He knows the tundra almost as well as the swans. Unlike the swans, a migrating human needs 24-hour backup on the ground. It's very hard to predict where Sasha will land, but Vlad's support team must keep up. It's September, and the Buick swans are leaving the tundra before the Arctic winter sets in. They are long-haul flight specialists, able to fly 48 hours at a stretch. But Sasha can fly a maximum of 3 hours at a time. As the swans can fly faster than Sasha can, she won't actually be able to fly amongst them, she'll fly in their wake.
As soon as you get airborne, it's totally awe-inspiring.
Although the swans fly on ahead, Sasha can experience the world as they do.
We basically just flew 60 kilometres across some of the most beautiful landscape, nothing like I've ever really seen before. That was great. For a first leg of the expedition, that was fantastic.
But Sasha is short-lived. Her engine fails, and Vlad and his helicopter have to take the paramotor away to be fixed.
Really disheartened. How could we have got to this point on day one?
But while she waits, Sasha enjoys the local cuisine, wild mushroom and venison stew, thanks to some friendly reindeer herders. Buick swans face many threats: power lines, loss of habitat, and a third of all of them arriving in the UK have been shot at. By following their route personally, Sasha is hoping to find out why. Next morning, Sasha's found a new way of flying. And Vlad has got the engine fixed.
Thank God.
Vlad's hard work has saved Sasha's mission, and she makes it back into the air. She can now follow the Swans westward towards the coast of the Baltic Sea. Swans are beautifully aerodynamically adapted and can cope with cold and wind much better than a human can.
This is what a few days of flying across the tundra is doing to my face. My eye is just so ridiculously puffy. Probably from dehydration of not wanting to carry huge amounts of weight, so perhaps I haven't been drinking enough in flight.
After 5 grueling days, Sasha makes it to the southern edge of the tundra. She's completed the first stage of the Swans' journey. But she has to say goodbye to her Arctic hero Vlad and carry.
He's gone all the way. From being the first person to stop just asking me who's the actual pilot of the paramotor going to be, assuming it couldn't possibly be me, and saying that it was impossible to cross. Vlad was the first person to stand up and say to them all, yes it is, and I think she can do it.
As Sasha takes to the air again, the scale of the next stage of her journey is revealed, the dense taiga forest. This is the world's greatest expanse of trees and has very few places to land.
I have found this all quite physically challenging, to be honest. I've had a lot to learn.
Sasha still has 4,000 miles to go. Through her eyes, we get an unprecedented swan's eye view of one of the most dramatic and challenging migrations in the world.
What an incredible and brave lady who's taken on such a challenge and already faced so many problems. But if I show you on the map here, I mean, in those first 7 days, she managed to go from here. She's just reached there. She's still in Russia. And if I go to a different colour here, then some of the birds have already crossed Europe, crossed over here and arrived in Welny. I know what you're going to say. I think I did really well. That's the first time that he's allowed me to go on this. On the touch screen, I think we'll have to share in future, because I think I was really rather good.
Was it an hour or 2 hours that you spent this afternoon messing around, practising on that touchscreen?
I sussed
You
it.
were
I got
in
it
here
right.
all